Hello everybody and welcome to Dale's. My name is Dale. I am welcoming you from Western Manitoba, Canada. Today it is kind of a gloomy, wet, rainy morning. Sorry, I'm jiggling you. So thank you very much for joining me. Hello to all the new subscribers. Thank you for coming along and sharing my channel, and as well as welcome to my returning subscribers. It's so nice to see you. So I am on Facebook as Dales. I'm on Instagram as Dales. And of course here on YouTube, I do have a blog as well, Dales and More. But I haven't written on it for quite a while. But I really should get back to that. And I really want to get back to it because I do really enjoy writing. I have written several books and lots of poems. And that is sort of always was my place to just kind of let my thoughts and creativity run wild, and there's lots of content on there. So if you're interested in reading, I even have one of my books on there, and there's lots of poems, there's recipes, there's crafts, there's all kinds of things on there, but I really need to get back to that. So today we are going to have mainly a knitting, crocheting, maybe a little stitching, might be a little bit of soup making in there somewhere because of the gray day it is today, but mostly knitting and crochet. I have been hitting it hard on the knitting and crocheting. This time of year, I really need to do a lot of knitting. I give a lot of gifts for Christmas that are knit, either, mostly socks, but this year I'm adding hats to my piles. And I just seem to have really wanted to knit. Things that I've started stitching, I've put aside, except for Olive's Bear, which I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I've kind of not done any stitching really. I've just been doing knitting. For the next while, that's probably what I'm going to be doing the most of. And that's because, we are in November now and Christmas is not that far away. And yeah, knitting it is. So I have some things that I finished, and I've got a whole pile of things that I've started. So I'm going to show you what I finished. Just hold on, let me grab them. So the last time I showed you my knitting projects, there was 3 pairs of socks that I was working on. One was a blue pair. That pair I finished and I gifted in October to my cousin for his birthday. And then I had 1 sock of these done, but now I have 2. These are just made from scraps. Actually, this here yarn was from a little sweater that I made for my great nephew Fritz when he was born, and it's a DK weight yarn. It's acrylic, and I got it from Mary Maxim, and I can't remember what it's called. I don't have the ball band anymore, but I had quite a chunk left of it and lots of little balls. So I made these socks. These are for me. They are going to be, I'll pull back. There we go. They're going to be boot socks for walking in the winter. They're quite warm and quite thick and taller than I usually wear. I don't usually wear a long sock like this, but for in boots, they're perfect. So yeah, these turned out really cute. I really do like these. So that's 1 pair. That's the second pair because the blue pair was the first pair. And then I had started this one. I had 1 done, but now I have 2 done. These are for gift for Christmas. And this is lichen and lace sock yarn. It's an 80-20 mixture of merino and nylon, maybe? Not sure. And in the colorway, do I have it in here? No, I don't. The colorway hydrangea. So that is another pair of socks finished. These are just the pattern that I use for this and for the other ones are my go to Vanilla Socks. It's called Super Simple Sock Pattern by Alison Sarnoff. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I'll link it below. I have linked it many times, but it really is a super simple, easy sock pattern. If you are just trying socks, this is a perfect one to try. And I use DPNs. I am not not fan of cable knitting unless it's for bigger things. I've tried. I have some 9-inch cable sock needles. I can't. That's too small. I get really cramped up in my hands when I use it. And I'm not a magic loop knitter for socks. I don't know why. I just find it slows me down. Always having to pull that needle really irritates me. So I do mine on DPNs, and I zip along really well on that. So that's the second pair done. I also finished, now what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I also finished a sock, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I made this sock for me, and it's made out of Crochet, and I did a little bit of a different front to it. I think I used, it's called the Opaz sock pattern by Kitchen Sink Shop, I believe. It is a rib on the top and plain on the back. But look what I did with the foot. How small is this? This is never going to fit me. And I was just going to go back to where I started the toe and then add more, because I do have a little bit of yarn. But I really don't think that I'm going to wear these socks. Number one, they're really, really thick. They're Crochet. It is Crochet yarn. Just let me get the thing here. I have it. I really don't think I'll wear them. I think they're too heavy for me. So I need a pair of glasses so I can see what this is. So they are Crochet Socks FX in the colorway Copper Colors. Like, I love the colors. I really love the colors. These are my colors, so much so. But it's so thick that, I don't know. So I think I'm going to frog them and use them for something else. I have that much left of one ball, and then I have another ball. So I think I'm going to frog these. And I don't know. I'm going to put them aside and decide later. I'm not going to worry about it right now, because they were just something that I was just wasting time with, but they're really, really heavy. They'd be really good if you were skating or skiing or something, you know, to put in your ski boot or your skates, but I don't do those kind of things, so yeah, okay. So then I also finished a couple of hats. This one was my first finish. This is Making Waves by, you know, I don't do these. This is why I don't podcast, because I'm not organized. It turns out the pattern was right here anyhow. It's Making Waves by Yaya Loves to Knit. This one here, and it's basically just an altered rib pattern, and I love it. It made a really nice textured hat, which I really like. I added, it calls for a 2-inch brim, and I made a 4-inch brim because I have a problem with hats. They slide off of me if they're too tight to my head for some reason. I don't know, but this one actually stays on my head. So yeah, that's one I made. This is made out of acrylic. It's just Bernat, and I thought I would just make it out of this because I had all of this yarn, and I love this color. You know, I mean, not many people like this, but I really love this color. So this is the first one. And then I made another one the way the pattern called for. And this one, I just did the 2-inch brim. This one I made out of 100% pure wool, which I got from a local sheep producer, wool producer and dyer here in town. She has since passed away, but this yarn, I bought this from her quite a few years ago, and it's just been sitting in my stash. The problem with this yarn was, though, was very, I don't know what's the name for the kind of yarn that can be like lace weight and then goes to super bulky and then lace to super bulky. That's the kind of yarn this was, and it was very difficult to see what I was doing. And also, I don't know what she used to dye this with, but as I was knitting, my hands were green. So I'm going to soak this in some water and see how much dye is going to come out of it. I don't know what she used, but the hat turned out really pretty. I'm happy with the hat, but it wasn't fun to knit because of the yarn, and it's very hard yarn. I don't actually think, now I might be wrong, but I actually don't know what her breed of sheep were. I know she that raised meat sheep as well as wool, but this was not nice yarn to use. It was very hard. So anyway, that is the second hat that I've done. I do like the pattern though. I think it's really pretty. And this pattern is free on Ravelry, by the way, and I will put the link to it below. So because I'm not really a hat wearer, I love hats, but they fall off me, and it doesn't matter. I need a chin strap for almost every hat that I wear. If I had chin straps, I would be perfectly, even in the summertime, I get a big sun hat and it's off. I don't know if it's the shape of my head or my shape of my head is deeper. I don't know what it is. So even though I made this, and I made it for my walks in the winter time, that's about the only time that I will actually put a hat on, is if I go for a walk outside. But since I broke my shoulder, my neck has been really bothering me, and I always seem to be cold now around the neck. And I think that's an age thing. I used to hear older people always complain about that. So I decided I still have a ton of this yarn left over. I decided to do a cowl. So I have started a cowl, and I don't have a pattern. I'm just using this hat pattern. So what I did was I figured out how many stitches I would need, and I did a 2x2, 3 rows of 2x2 rib, and then I just started the pattern, and it's going to be nice. I actually think that I will use this cowl more than I'll use the hat, but I'll try and use both. But yeah, so now I'm thinking, because I do like this texture, I find it very pleasing to look at for some reason. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is incorporate this pattern into some socks. I think they would make really pretty socks. So yeah, I really like this pattern, and it's very simple. It's super, super simple. It's just 6 stitches, really. But yeah, so that is what I have finished. I cast this on last night, and I was just doing this while I was watching TV. So this will be finished quite soon. And then I have also got another hat, and it's in this bag. This is the 2x2 hat. This is for a Christmas gift for a man in my life, one of the men in my life. I have several of these to make. This is a really heavy. I'm using 2, it calls for worsted weight, but I'm using 2 DKs, and it's really heavy. This was yarn that I had made the Sunday morning wrap from, which I loved making that, but again, I wasn't going to be wearing it. It was too much, too big for a scarf for me. So I frogged it, and I'm now making hats, and it's really super nice, and I don't remember what it was called either. So I'm just holding two together, two DK weights to make this pattern, and I will put the link to this pattern in the description below. I don't have my iPad here, it's on my iPad, but it's called the 2x2 2x2 hat, I believe, and it's on Ravelry, but I will put the link to that one as well. So that's another hat I'm working on. Socks, I've got a couple on the go. I have this pair here. This is for a gift, and this is the same pattern as those red ones, wherever they are. See how much nicer they show up on this? Of course, I should bring the camera a little bit closer, should I not? So this is the same pattern as the red ones, but this is lichen and lace yarn. Isn't it pretty? This lichen and lace yarn is from the sock train I belong to with lichen and lace, and I get a skein of yarn every month of their choosing. I have never any idea what I'm gonna get, and their yarn is gorgeous, and it's a sock train. So this is the one that I'm using for these socks, and this one is called, this one I do have the ball band for, Putting Shed. It is so pretty. So this is the Opa pattern, free pattern on Ravelry by Kitchen Sink Shop, and I'm making these are for somebody with a very small foot. I'm doing this in a 56 cast on, I believe this one is going to be. Yeah, so that's another pair of socks that I've got cast on. I can get that back in there, I wonder. Do you like my yarn bowl? This works perfectly, this little candy bowl. I have, when I was a young woman, teenager really, my mom started gifting me crystal and china. That was the thing that was done in that era. You got these things for your daughter for their hope chest. And so I've got several of these little candy bowls that sit up in the closet, never used until Christmas time, because I don't have candy laying around all year round. And I was cleaning up there, and I thought, well, what could I do with these? They're such beautiful little things. Well, don't you know, they fit a cake just perfectly. And so that's what I'm using them for. They're my yarn bowls. How pretty is that? Who said you can't have crystal yarn bowls? Okay, then I have another pair of socks that I have just cast on. What are these? Oh yes. Actually, I just cast that, so I just got a little bit. I'm making a pair of skate socks for a 5-year-old boy who is just learning to skate. So I'm making him a pair of skate socks just with leftover yarn. And I think it's just Crochet. They're going to be nice warm socks. So that's another pair of socks, and I'm not done yet. The Lichen and Lace had their Christmas sock pattern published, and you could buy the yarn and then she would give you the pattern. So I bought the yarn for the Christmas sock. Now if I can pick these all up for you. There you go. It's a stripy sock using these colors. Aren't they gorgeous? And the sock is just a plain vanilla sock, really, but I'm going to change it up. I'm basically going to use this pattern, but I'm going to do a few things. I don't like that kind of top. I need a rib top for myself, but it's just a vanilla type pattern. I might do a little bit of texturing in it somehow, but yeah, I love these colors. So I caked these up this morning, and I'm going to cast this one on too. So that'll be enough socks for now. I have about 8 pairs to do for Christmas, so I better get moving on the socks. So that is all of the knitting, I think. I mean, I've got so much in here that I want to do, but I have to do these socks and get them finished first. Do you do something like this? I meant to mention this so many times and I always forget. Do you do this? Do you write down what you're working on, when you're working on, what you did every day? This is the first year that I've ever done this, and actually this has been really good. I've really enjoyed when I could think of it. I started off doing everything in color, you know, like the knit stuff was in pink, and the fabric, anything in fabric was another color, and stitching was another color, but I just, I quit doing that. Now I just write, and it's really interesting as you go along, and you know, you fill in what you did that day. Every day has I've done something almost every day except 2 months. This was my April. I worked up to the 2nd of April, but then I broke my shoulder on the 5th, and then there was nothing. And then there was nothing pretty much till the end of May. So I basically lost 2 months of stitching and crafting and knitting and all the things that I love to do. But I sort of made up for it because every month after that, there's July, August, September, October, and November so far. So I just bought this at the dollar store, really, and it's got big enough squares that you can write in. But what I found was interesting is going back and looking at all that I've done. You know, sometimes you think, oh, I haven't done anything this year. Oh my gosh, if you start going back and looking at all of this, it's amazing what we can accomplish in a year. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go back to the dollar store and pick up some more of these for next year. I also have one that I do, a different one that I put all my video stuff on, like my YouTube videos. This is my videos for July. And I didn't think I did that many, but when you start looking at them, it's a good record. It really is, you know? So yeah, I'm going to do this again next year. I'm going to buy a couple of these little planners, and I'm just going to just jot down very quickly what I'm working on that particular day. And there's also notes at the back of these. I haven't done this. I also have a knitting journal that I actually write down the project that I'm working on, the day I start it, what I'm using, what size needles, what's the cast on, you know, that kind of thing. And then I can actually put in a picture if I want, or I can put in a pattern link, or even a little scrap of the yarn if I want to. That one I actually haven't really updated in a long time, because when I knit, I'll show you what I do. I have one here, I think I do. I gotta find one. Here we go. There'll be one in here. I have also at the dollar store, I pick up these little books, and I have, like, they're like $1. I usually buy 10 or so. And for every project, I have one of these. So, for instance, every pair of socks has this little book of its own. And all my knitting, like this is the sock that I did for my friend who lost her daughter. So there is that sock. And I write everything down as I go. This purple pair that I showed you, it's all written here. So what I do before I started using these little books, I would just have scraps of paper and I stuff it in my knitting journal so that all the information is there. I just have to transfer it in. But now I'm just going to keep these, because if I ever make a second pair of socks for that person, I can look here and see how long a sock, how long a foot, what I did for the heel. Like, it's really good. So yeah, these are great little books, and I got a whole whack of them. Almost every project bag has one of these in with the project that I'm currently working on. And I just pull it out when I'm working on it, and I make my marks on here. And yeah, works great. So now, crochet. I have been itching to do some crocheting. And while I've been doing all this knitting, I've been kind of thinking, what could I do to crochet? I don't want to, I don't want to do, I want to do something that's going to be useful to me. So I was I was doing a little bit of fall cleaning in my bedroom. And I moved the dresser away to clean in behind it and under and around it. And I found my crochet project that I want to start. So if you have been watching me for a while, you will have seen this already. This was my Christmas present last year. And I haven't done anything with it. Look at all the yarns in there. So I'm going to take that out of here and show you if I can figure out how to get in here. And actually, I think what I might do nothing like starting a huge big project, huh? This is the Schloach Into the Woods, Get Your Hook On, Overlay Mosaic Crochet Pattern by Get Your Hook On. And I got this for Christmas last year from Gary. And it is a Christmas blanket. Isn't it beautiful? I'm going to start it. But I think what I'm going to do, because I've been thinking about Vlogmas. I did Vlogmas last year and I really enjoyed it. But Vlogmas takes quite a bit of planning, at least my type of Vlogmas does. And I'm not in the mindset to do all of that work. So I thought what I might do was sort of make this as my Advent or my Vlogmas. What I would do is start it on the 1st of December and work on it every day and see if I can finish it by Christmas. Wouldn't that be something? I don't know if it's doable, but I crochet pretty fast. I've never done mosaic crochet, however. And this one is pretty involved. But I think I'm up for the challenge. So I think I am going to do this as my Vlogmas this year. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Is that a crazy idea, or should I just start it? But I'm going to start it because we're getting up to a full year it's been in the bag, and I really would like to have this on my sofa for Christmas this year. So I think this is going to be my Christmas project and my crochet project for Vlogmas. So anyway, that is my crochet and my knitting for the 3rd of November. Is that what today is? Yep, the 3rd of November. And it's nice. I'm actually happy that we are at this time of year. This is the stay indoors, hunker down, make soup, knit, crochet, watch stupid movies on TV. Oh, but I watched a good one last night, I have to tell you. If you have Netflix, watch Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed that movie. You know, it is a feel-good movie for women. I won't tell you what it's about, but it is one of those kind of movies. It has no violence, it has no sex, it has no swears. It has a story about a person who was just had a beautiful soul, was kind, and in that way her kindness was repaid back to her. And it was about beautiful clothes, beautiful dresses. Watch it if you are into that kind of thing. It was a refreshing movie. In this day and age, when you turn on something and you get 2 minutes into it and there's so many F-bombs that you can't take it anymore, this is a really refreshing little movie. So watch it. You crafters, you will love it. And the lady who plays Mrs. Harris is wonderful. She did such a perfect job. It is set in London, England, and it's so well done. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's the kind of thing you can watch something like that and work on something like this while you have a nice hot cup of tea or hot chocolate, or that's the kind of thing you can do at this time of year because it's dark, it's cool, it's cold. It's not that cold here yet though. For Manitoba, we're doing pretty well. We had rain last night. Snow is not supposed to be around for at least another full week or so. Like this week is going to be really warm. Not really warm compared to people who live, you know, Florida and stuff like that. But for us, it's warm. The following week, we have snow predicted. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of looking forward to the snow. The garden work is all done. And so I can concentrate on things in the house and can concentrate on some crafting. Now, I have been doing a little bit of stitching, even though I said I wasn't going to do any more stitching for a while. I have started a couple of little pieces, so I will show you that now. I belong to a Facebook group called Free Printable Cross Stitch Patterns, and they always have different patterns that are released from time to time, almost every day. And there's been 2 really cute Christmas ones. I'll show you. This was the first one. Okay, I'll put it up here. Picture of it up here. But I've been doing that one. Been working on it, and I'm just doing. Oh, everything's attached. I just got that much done on it so far. And it's a little ornament. I'm actually going to put it on a bag, on project bag, Christmas project bag. I think it'll be really cute on a Christmas project bag. And the other one that I saved is, there, that one. Also would be a cute little small a cute little small. If you're interested in some free cross stitch patterns that you can make cute little quickie things like this, they have quite a few on there. And I'm really concerned, have any of you got your new Christmas ornament just cross stitch one yet? I think somebody might have stole mine because it hasn't come. I've seen it in the stores, I've seen other people have it, but mine hasn't shown up, and I'm really concerned because I have a subscription to that, and I'll be really upset if somebody hoisted it on me. But I did see it in Walmart, so I might just buy another one, and so that I have it, and then if I get it in the mail, then I'll just gift it to one of you. So this is the kind of thing, if I do any stitching, it's going to be just little short things like this. But that's all I'm going to be doing. I might do a few more ornaments just to go with some of my knitted stuff, but not, I'm not doing anything major until after the new year. So that's it for this week. I have nothing else to show you. Hopefully I will have some of this other stuff that I've started finished next week, and I probably will have Olive's Bear to show you next week. It is partially stuffed, but not 100%. If you're waiting for me to do a stuffing the bear video, I'm not going to do a full video on that. I mean, it's stuffing. You just stuff the bear. It's not rocket science, but I will do a little bit. I'm not doing a whole lot of that. And then I will just put her ears on and finish her up. And we might have a postal strike, so I am not, I would have mailed Olive's Bear out in November, but I think I'm going to hold on to it, see what happens, because I don't want it being laying somewhere and forgotten about. So I will just kind of watch the situation. I don't know. I didn't even know that that was brewing, but I got a message from the bank saying that, you know, this might happen this week, and I had no clue. Of course, I don't watch the news anymore because it's such rubbish on there anyway, so I'm not in the loop about world events. So that's all I've got for you. I have some soup cooking in the kitchen, and I will put a little blurb here about the soup, how I made it, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for subscribing and supporting my channel in that way. And I will see you again next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now. So, because it is soup weather, I am making ham and pea soup. Split ham, split pea, no, full pea, and ham soup. So I have a ham bone that I have been boiling for, a couple hours actually. And there's, I got all the meat off it, so this can be discarded. Now I'm going to be adding celery, carrots, and onions. And if I could find my spoon, I'll show you. There is meat in there. So I'm going to add this to my soup. And I'm also going to add a full bottle of beef broth. I just happen to have some of this, but if I don't have it, what I usually do is I just use those little cubes. Chip is excited. So I'm just going to let these vegetables cook now for a while. I don't add the peas yet. I'm just going to let this simmer, cook up these vegetables, and when they're all cooked, then I will add the peas and the seasonings. Salt and pepper. I have some summer savory that I grew. I'm going to throw some of that in there. I'm not going to put garlic in this time around. I usually do put garlic, but we had a whole bunch of garlic yesterday in our meal, so I'm going to not put garlic. So I'm going to give this a stir. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to let this simmer away for a couple of hours. until the vegetables are all cooked down. So, ham and pea soup for supper tonight. Nothing better on a fall evening. The soup is done now. I added 3/4 cup of whole dried yellow peas, which I had soaked for about an hour first, into this, and salt and pepper and some summer savory, and the soup is ready to be eaten. Can't wait.